Good morning, student. Good morning to all of you. Today we shall see the last portion of the lesson from the diary of Anne Frank in our third period. And as there is a break and we are meeting after a long interval, it is very essential to connect the previous theme of the lesson to the new one which we are going to understand, which we are going to learn. Okay. And that's why I will read two paragraphs from page number 52. I hope that you will come with me. And the new word we have already seen, comprehensive question we have already seen. The need is only to read these two paragraph from the passage from the page number 52. See here, page number 52. See, Saturday, June 20, 1942. Saturday, 20th June 1942. Dearest Kitty, our entire class is quaking in its boot. The reason, of course, is the forthcoming meeting in which the teachers decide who will move up to the next form, next class, and who will be kept back. Now, all the class is afraid because there is a meeting among the teachers. They will decide about the promotion of the student. They will decide who is going to the next class and who is going to be kept back in the same class, repeaters. And as nobody know who is going to the next class, as nobody know who is going to pass and who is going to be kept in the same class, of course, all the students of Anne Frank's class are under tension. They are afraid. Half the class is making beat. Gian and I laugh ourselves silly at two boys behind us, Cian and Jack, who have staked their entire holiday savings on their beats. From morning to night, it is, you are going to pass. The other student used to say to Annie that she will definitely pass, no doubt. And what does she react? She say, no, I am not. They say, yes, you are. No, I am not. Even G.S. pleading glances and my angry outburst can't calm them down. If you ask me, there are so many dummies that about a quarter of the class should be kept back. But teachers, very strange remark given by Anne Frank for teacher. I don't know because I am myself teacher, but teachers are the most unpredictable creature on earth. What does she say? How does she remark? What comment does she pass over the teacher? Teachers are the most unpredictable creatures on the earth, according to Anne Frank. I am not so worried. She is sure that she will definitely pass. She is not worried about herself and her girlfriend and myself. I am not so worried about my girlfriend and myself. I will make it. means I will make it means she will pass the exam. She will go through the exam very well with my show here. I will make it. The only subject I am not sure about is math. She is very weak at math, and so she is not sure whether she will pass in math or not. And there is another reason. First reason, she is very weak. She admits it very frankly that she is very weak at mathematics, and secondly, she has not a good relationship with the math teacher. God knows why the math teacher hates her, why the math teacher dislikes her. Maybe that she is very talkative girl, she is very gregarious, she is very introvert girl, and that's why the teacher does not like it. And the relationship between Annie Frank and the teacher is, to some extent, you can say, is not healthy one. Until then, so here the only subject I am not sure about is math. Anyway, we can do is wait and watch. Until then, we keep telling each other not to lose heart. To lose heart. You know the phrase I have written it on the blackboard. I am not so worried about my girlfriend and myself. We will make it. The only subject I am not sure about is math. Anyway, and we can do it is wait. We can do is wait and watch. Until then, we keep telling each other not to lose heart. I get along pretty well with all my teachers. Means she has very good relationship with all the teacher except the teacher, a mathematics teacher. Apart from mathematics teacher, she has very good relationship with all the teacher. I get along pretty well with all my teachers. There are 9 of them, 7 men and 2 women. Mr. Casing, the old fogey who teaches math, was annoyed with me for ages because I talk so much. After several warnings, he assigned me extra homework and essay on the subject a chatterbox. A chatterbox? What can you write about that? I would worry about that letter. I decided. I jot down the title in my notebook, tuck it in my bag, and tried to keep quiet. In this way, we have seen these 2 paragraphs. Let us go ahead. Now, assignment was given to her, and the assignment, let me write what was the assignment given to Annie? Okay, and the answer is a chatter box. Very strange subject. Okay, the teacher, as he does not like Annie Frank because she is very talkative girl, she is very gregarious, and that's why teacher assigned her this work to write an essay on a chatter box. Now, this is the subject. Is it a subject on which you can write essay on that topic? No, it is not a subject like that. But she decided that in the class she should not worry about it. Just she decide that to write it down, and so she writes the matter. She writes the topic of an assignment in her notebook. Shall I continue now? See here, next paragraph, page number 52. That evening, after I finished the rest of my homework, she went home, she finished her PS, and when she had finished her rest of homework, the note about the essay caught my eyes. I began thinking about the subject while chewing the tip of my fountain pen. Anyone could ramble, anyone could talk on and give big space between the word, but the trick was to come up with convincing argument to prove the necessity of talking. I thought, and suddenly I had an idea. I wrote the 3 pages Mr. Casing had assigned me and was satisfied. I argued that talking is a student's trait and that would do my best to keep it under my control, but that I would never be able to cure myself habit since my mother talked as much as I did, if not more, and that there is not much you can do about inherited trait. Let me read this paragraph to you again and try to understand what I am reading to you. That evening, after I had finished the rest of my work, the note about the essay caught my sight. I began thinking about the subject while chewing the tip of my fountain pen. Anyone could ramble on and ramble, R-A-M-B-L-E, means to talk. Anyone could ramble on and leave big space between the word. But the trick was to come up with convincing argument to prove the necessity of talking. I thought, and suddenly I had an idea. I wrote the 3 pages Mr. Cushing had assigned me and was satisfied. I argued that talking is a student's trait and that I would do my best to keep it under control, but that I could never be able to cure myself of the habit since my mother talked as much as I did, if not more, and that there is not much you can do about inherited trait. Boys, she remembered the topics she had to write after her. She had done first homework, okay, and when she had done her homework, she caught sight of the chapter the teacher had assigned her, that a chattering box, and now boys, she decided to write it, and she decided to write an essay given to her by the teacher, assigned by the teacher to her. Now, in the beginning, she could not have immediate idea to jot down, to write down essay on it. She put the top point of the pen in her mouth and went on thinking. She went on thinking and went on thinking. Now, boys, it is not a subject to be given for an assignment. Still, she thought and thought and thought, and now she had to convince the teacher. That was very important thing for her. And immediately an idea struck to her. She thought and went on thinking, and she thought to write the essay on it, and she wrote 3 pages. 3 pages were written by her. She wrote 3 pages, and in these 3 pages she tried to explain that talking is student's quality. Talking is student inclination. Talking is student trait, their favorite thing in the class. So she also explained that talking is very, very necessary for student, And secondly, she gives second reason, she is talkative, she is gregarious, she talks too much because her mother is also a talkative woman, she also used to talk, and the quality of talking too much comes from her mother. Of course, she agrees that she wants to control it, but as it is a natural trait, as it is inherited from mother, she could do nothing. All these things she wrote in that chattering box. So boys, let me write one question on the blackboard first. When did Annie recall the essay? Okay. How did Annie advocate that talking is necessary for the student? Or write a paragraph on a chattering box written by Annie. Okay. Now these are the three questions. When did Annie recall essay? How did Annie advocate or defend that talking is necessary for the students? Just a minute. Or write an essay. Write a paragraph on chattering box written by Annie Frank. How did Annie Frank defense? How did Annie defense? Just a minute. Defense herself in a chatter box. Okay boys, okay, now let me read this to you again. That evening, after I had finished the rest of my homework, the note about the essay caught my eye. I began thinking about the subject while chewing the tip of my fountain pen. Anyone could ramble on and leave the big space between the word, but the trick was to come up with convincing argument to prove the necessity of talking. She wanted to prove that talking was very necessary, or talking is very necessary for the student. I thought, and suddenly I had an idea. I wrote the 3 pages Mr. Casing had assigned me and was satisfied. I argued that talking is a student's trait, that I would do my best to keep it under control, but that I would never be able to cure myself of the habit since my mother talked as much as I did, if not more, and that there is not much you can do about inherited trait. Okay boys, inherited trait. Mr. Casing had a good laugh at my argument. Also, it means that next day she might have gone to school. The teacher might have seen the essay written on chatterbox, and the teacher made a fun of it. When I proceeded to talk my way through the next lesson, he assigned me second lesson. The teacher, after seeing chatterbox, assigned her a second lesson, and that time it was supposed to be an incorrigible chattering box. एक मिनट. Okay, boys. Now, Mr. Casing had a good laugh at my argument, but what argument did he argue? That one. Huh? Okay, that chattering is very essential for student. It is very natural trait of student. Secondly, she got it from her mother's nature and all this. And when the teacher read it, he laughed at the argument made by Annie Frank. But when I proceeded to talk my way through, the time was supposed to be on an incorrigible chatterbox. I handed it in, and Casing had nothing to complain about her whole lesson. However, during the third lesson, he would finally had enough. Annie Frank, as a punishment for talking in the class, write an essay entitled Quack, Quack, Quack. This is the second essay. Okay, she was given and she wrote an essay on it as it was assigned by the teacher. Again, the teacher is not satisfied, and as he is not satisfied, he assigned her third word, and that is quack, quack, quack. This is the third assignment she is given by the teacher. Okay, boys. First, chatterbox. She explained. Okay, she explained that talking is a trait of student. It is inclination of student, and she has got it from her mother. The teacher, of course, make fun of it, and he assigned the second assignment, that incorrigible chatterbox. And again she wrote essay on this one, but teacher makes fun of it, and finally, as the teacher is very angry with her, he gives third assignment to write essay on this quack, quack, quack. And now it is very difficult. Come on. The class roared. I had to laugh too, though I had nearly exhausted my ingenuity on the topic of chatterbox. It was time to come up with something else, something original. My friend Sani, who is good at poetry. Let me read it again here. The class roared. I had to laugh too, though I had nearly exhausted my ingenuity on the topic of something else, something original. My friend Sani, who is good at poetry, offered to help me write the essay from beginning to the end in verse, and I jumped for joy. Mr. Casing was trying to play a joke on me with this ridiculous subject, but I would make sure the joke was on him. Now she decides to write essay on it, but she is helpless because she was totally exhausted. She is totally tired, and when she is feeling tired, her friend comes forward to help her. Shani, her friend, came forward to help her. Shani is very good at poetry, and they write the whole poem on this assignment, quack, quack, quack. Okay, and now actually the teacher want to laugh at Annie, but it is joke not on Annie, it is joke on the teacher, which is taken very lightly by the teacher. I finished my poem and it was beautiful. It was about a mother duck and a father swan with 3 baby ducklings who were beaten to death by the father because they quacked too much. Luckily, Mr. Kissing took the joke the right way. He read the poem to the class, adding to his own comment and to several other classes as well. Since then, I have been allowed to talk and had not been assigned any extra homework. On the contrary, Mr. Kissing always making joke these days. Now, what actually happened? The poem has a story, and the story is that it is a story of swan and duck. This swan and duck had 3 sons, 3 ducklings, and the father swan had killed all the 3 children because they talked too much. That was the subject of the poetry. And now here you might have understood it. Who is swan here? Mathematics teacher is swan. Okay. Now the meaning of the poem is understood by the teacher, that the poem is written on the teacher and not the swan and duck. The swan is who? Who is swan? The swan is the teacher himself, who punishes his student because they talk too much. And hence the teacher now understand what Annie want to say, and the teacher forgive her, and thereupon he never punish her. She never gives her extra work. And now the teacher earlier, who was very serious, he never used to laugh. Now he start laughing in the class also. In this way, our lesson has come to an end. You might have understood it. Thank you a lot. In this way, we have finished this lesson from the diary of Annie Frank. Okay, boys, we understand that children are bound to talk. The teacher should understand that. The teacher should understand it. The teacher should take talking of the student in the class very lightly, because talking in the class is very natural regarding the student. As far as student is concerned, it is just natural. The teacher should understand it. The teacher should not punish his charges, his student, because they only talk too much. That is natural tendency, and that's why I understand that. I think that you might have understood it. Thank you.